Happy New Year and welcome to the Mamurai Gaming Podcast, recorded on January 7th, 2015. My name is Pete.
I am Memo.
We're going to talk today a little about the past year that we got out of a week ago. And what happened in 2014 and so on and so forth. So, dude, do you wanna start because wow, what a year. I mean, I've had people say it was the worst year in video games ever. And I've also heard people say the exact opposite, that it was one of the most amazing games in years in video game release history.
All right. Yeah, I can certainly start about that. Personally, I have to agree with the first group of people you said there. I don't necessarily think it was the worst, but it wasn't great either. I didn't feel that, at least for myself, there were that many games I wanted to play compared to previous years, but that may just be a matter of preference for me personally. I just was not that excited about too many of the games released in 2014.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, the whole worst year in gaming ever has more to do with build up of anticipation. You know, people really being really excited about certain things and certain games and so on, and then those particular labs either not delivering or so on and so forth. Because for me, the games that came out in 2014 that I actually played, I rather enjoyed. Whereas, sure, I can see why some people would be disappointed with particular titles and so on. For me, I think it was a great year. But
Any particular reason? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean when I say that it was a question of build up and anticipation, and then people not delivering, rather than it was a shitty year, because there were plenty of titles this year.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I definitely agree with you. What you mean about that? There were certain titles that were AAA titles, and when they came out, they didn't really deliver. So yes, it isn't the fact that maybe there were not that many games coming out. It's just the fact that the games that did come out, they were not that good. That is what you're saying, right?
Well, no, I actually think a lot of great games came out. I just think that some of the games that were the most anticipated were a little underwhelming, either because of bugs or because of, publishers screwing up, or because of, whatever. Imagine a year where all the top 3 most anticipated games were all Aliens Colonial Marines. Then people would come out and say easily, that's the shittiest game ever. No matter if like the second, if like the 4th most anticipated game was like Half-Life 2, then people would come out and say, it's so shitty. No, dude, we got some amazing games. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter that we got amazing games, because the games that were supposed to be amazing suck.
Yeah, I see what you mean. The games I want to be amazing were not good.
Yeah, and for the labs who made the really, really good games of this year, hearing people say, "Oh, it's the worst year in gaming ever," I would be tremendously offended.
Yeah, I see. I definitely agree with you there. I guess, and for me personally, it's just that, as you said, the games that came out, a few of them were underwhelming, or I simply was not interested in playing them because I had either, yeah, I pretty much seen it before, or it was bad and very and written with bugs, pretty
Yeah,
much.
and I think that's what sort of brings us into the sort of the next area of discussion is that when we speak of the year 2014 in gaming, we can't avoid having to speak about the year in gaming news
Yeah,
because it feels like it's been a year where the focus hasn't been on the whether or not the games are good or bad. It feels like the kind of year where we're talking about games, and you know the gaming press um, has been the talk of video gaming, rather than looking at computer games, rather than just enjoying playing the games. We've been spending our time in the news instead, with these guys got hacked now,
yeah,
these
yeah,
guys are cheating now, um, uh, Gamergate, uh, you know it feels like I've been spending more time reading about games than playing games.
yeah. Exactly. I agree. It's like that was the major news on many of the side, like news about stuff like that, but not really playing any games as much, which is weird. So it has been a weird year for gaming and gaming news in general.
Very much so. I mean, um, for me, um, some of the news that have been coming out have been, I don't read a lot of gaming news, so it was sort of a first for me to uh, actually go to news channels and so on, and reading about these things. I have never ever paid attention to the gaming press really, because I've always been provided the games that I play through my friends and people I just enjoy to hang out with.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, for the longest time, every game I played was something who I played World of Warcraft with. It's something they were playing. All right, then let's try that as well. That's how I used to discover games. Or the guys you sit in the web cafe with. But now, all of a sudden, you're spending time, in the news, reading about, things like Gamergate, things like Ubisoft, for example. How many headlines have Ubisoft provided us this year alone? Um, so
countless.
yeah, exactly, and it's this tragic comic bullshit. Um, uh, to have to spend so much time reading about that.
Yeah, because that it's sad that you have to go through all kinds of bullshit like that, as you say, instead of just actually playing the game and enjoying it for what it is, instead of oh, why did they kept the FPS to this and that and blah 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 blah. But it still needed to be covered, and obviously because it's a problem.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
But
I suppose that's also why we were just talking about the worst year in gaming ever, um, because I think a great part of that is uh, is Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed Unity, because these were tremendously anticipated titles. People were so pumped for Watch Dogs, and nobody remembers it anymore. Because it just came out so underwhelming, and that's sort of the point I was getting at. That these titles, and especially Ubisoft, just dropping the ball repeatedly, just made the year, or at least the most sort of visible parts of the year, very unpleasant for a lot of people.
Agreed. And I did play also Watch Dogs, and it wasn't good. Even if you look past the graphical aspect of it, which we've been discussing about this before, that they had nerfed the graphics and so on. But
yeah,
even if you look apart from that, just to see, okay, screw the graphics, is the game actually good gameplay wise? And not really.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was, just like, okay, it's decent enough, but I have certainly seen better, which it's not good for a game like that. Obviously, Grand Theft Auto and even a game called Sleeping Dogs was certainly better than this.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, I agree. It's definitely a game that's like that. I also felt I don't know if this was just me, a lack of new multiplayer first-person shooters in 2014.
Okay, well, I know that a lot of people played Titanfall. I believe that was from this year, right?
That is true. It was one of those things. I actually also played Titanfall.
Oh, okay.
And I think this proves a point, because even though there are some interesting new mechanics in it, like what do you call that thing they do when they jump off and on buildings and so on? You grab
sort of weirdly rail grinding on the side of a building, wall walking or something like that.
Yeah, parkour or whatever it's called. Yeah, there was that aspect of it was good, and of course, playing around with these huge robots and so on. So there were some, I guess, some innovation in that regard, but it just quickly became very repetitive. So it isn't a game that's like, okay, I want to play this for ages, or it's something I'm always coming back to.
Okay.
Well,
yeah. That's different years are different that way. Sometimes, I feel like sometimes it's a role-playing game year where it's like, oh my god, all the amazing role-playing games came out this year and so on. So that no first-person multiplayer games that you and I stuck with came out this year. That's sort of a first world gaming problem, if you know what I mean. That's just us not getting exactly what we want. And at the end of the day, we still have 1.6.
Always 1.6. But isn't that the problem, as you said? Like sometimes it's like, oh, this is a huge RPG year, and now it's FPS year. Because if you look back at it, what do you think? What kind of year would 2014 be for you, in your opinion, or is it any year at all in that sense?
2014, and this is one more where I'll take the year in my defense, was an all over the place kind of year. If we look at the great titles, once again, that sort of the AAA titles that sort of managed to disappoint a little, they're all well, save Far Cry 4 maybe, but they're all that sort of third person over the shoulder GTA Assassin's Creed model, where you run around like that. Those were the ones that I feel disappointed. But there were many other games. There were cute little indie platformers. There were sort of role playing games. There was horror, first person horror games, and so on and so forth. So I feel it was a year that was all over the place, and I mean that in a good way.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you. So it was all over the place. And for me personally, there wasn't, even if it was all over the place, I didn't feel that there were many games. In my opinion, they were that great, but some definitely did live up to the hype or surprised people that they were good. Shall we get into that now?
No. I mean, let's stick with the news still. I don't know if you want to round any sort of major news like that. I mean, obviously we mentioned Ubisoft dropping the ball and Ubisoft being in the news too much in 2014. Was there anything was there anything else you felt was in the news too much in 2014?
Definitely, yeah. There,
or
of
too
course,
little, for that matter.
Well, Gamergate, the whole Gamergate thing, feminism thing, whatever about games, that was certainly also in their way too much, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, because it became such a big kerfuffle and back and forth, and people just pointing fingers. Yeah, it was in there too much. But at the same time, if the people who use the Gamergate hashtag do have a legitimate claim that gaming press is rotten, then then from their perspective, there will not have been enough about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who am I to say that it was in there too much? But yeah, I certainly felt that I was hearing about that a lot.
Yeah, and in the end, for me, it was like, yeah, okay, I've got the whole thing already. Can't we just shut up now and release some good games? I want to hear about some exciting games, but yeah, of course, those things in there also needed to be addressed. But yeah, it was too much for me.
I think one of the reasons it was too much for us was that we don't consume those sites so much. But if you look at how many eyeballs places like Rock Paper Shotgun, Kotaku, Gamer Sutra, and places like that have, then you realize that if those guys are, don't have their shall we say, journalistic integrity completely in order, then then there is a problem to address.
Yes, certainly, yeah.
The crazy thing here is obviously that the people who seem to be fighting back against the people who are using the Gamergate hashtag aren't actually those sites. I mean, you could understand if those sites came out and said, "Oh, no, we're fine. We haven't done anything. We this and defended themselves." Then you'd understand that. The weird thing for me is that the people who seem to be attacking the Gamergate hashtag aren't those websites.
So, yeah, it was very confusing. It's like, why are you doing this? It was very unrelated in my head.
Yeah, I do feel that there are two sort of separate discussions, and that a lot of the people who are attacking Gamergate are attacking the Gamergate hashtag with things that doesn't have anything to do with the stuff that the people behind the Gamergate hashtag want to talk about. And I that's probably also one of the reasons that I felt I heard about it too much, was that it's like, two groups of people, and the one group is having one discussion and the other is having another discussion, and then they're discussing with each other, and it's like, guys, you're not talking about the same thing. So
yeah, it seemed like that it somehow got hijacked by this other group of people to.
Well, I mean, I can understand if you don't like something, that a tactic is to sort of smear or defame it. Um, you know, I get all that. So yeah. That was in the news a lot, and I do consume channels on YouTube hosted by people who are supporters of the Gamergate hashtag. But that is not the main sort of content on those channels.
Yep. What else?
Sony hack here at the end of the year. I don't remember on what date that actually was.
Well, yeah, was it? No, was it? Was it early December? Well, around there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where the whole why did it happen? It was because of that, at least that the interview movie about killing Kim Jong-il or Il or whatever he's called in North Korea, the supreme leader there.
Yeah.
And apparently this hacker group hacked Sony because they wanted this this movie not to be shown. They wanted it to take it off from the cinemas.
Yeah.
And then there was some conspiracy going on that it wasn't actually North Korea, it was someone else doing it, so they could tighten their grip around the internet even more.
Yeah, because that's the reason it sort of stayed in the news for me on some of the places I get my news from. Went all conspiracy theory and said, "Oh no! This is not North Korea doing this. This is in fact the CIA or the Obama administration or something like that, who did this, who hacked Sony. It's a false flag operation, and what they're doing is they're blaming North Korea for this, so as to as you say, tighten the grip around the internet, implementing even more draconic rules for internet use in the States."
Yeah, but what is your personal take on this? If you wanna get into that is.
I really don't know. I wouldn't put it beyond either of those two to do something like that. So I don't know. I can't know. Unless some sort of whistleblower guy comes out with something for this, then I don't think we'll ever get the truth about that. Because, as I said, I wouldn't put it beyond any of those two particular groups, either North Korea or a U.S. Intelligence group.
Yeah, I mean, personally, yeah, it's difficult to say because there are also mentioned that it also went through that somehow China has also been involved in this, but
yeah. Well,
I don't know. I'm more inclined to think that it was somehow that it was North Korea than the US, because I can see them doing it, but I can also see them doing it in smarter ways than that.
Yeah, and getting China mixed into that, I can see that. China and the US have on several occasions accused each other of cyber attacks. So, the idea that North Korea called someone in Beijing and said, "Oh, guys, by the way, can we borrow some hacker types?" I could see that. I could see that being a thing as well. But once again, I'm just saying that those are possibilities. I'm not saying that I believe
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe either scenario because we just can't know.
True, true. And then they released all these personal emails, correspondence from Sony higher ups and some famous actors and semi-famous actors, and yeah, it's I don't know. I wasn't interested in that, and in the end of the day, it's stolen data, isn't it? That is being released.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing where as you say, it's stolen data, and uh, you know, I'm actually not very interested in it. All those, those leaked personal emails and so on, all those leaked correspondences. I just don't care. I'm not interested.
Yet the media gobbled it up.
Oh yeah, well the media gobbles anything up. The media are catering to the most eyeballs, and that just means that a lot of media outlets are lowest common denominator. So you know, I mean, what are you gonna do? Um, you,
Yeah.
just stop consuming mainstream media. That's all.
Well said, sir. Well said.
I don't know what else was it this year that or was that last year that the whole fleck with Double Fine started or ended or whatever with that game they were supposed to release and then they
Oh, I can't remember.
okay. No, but
Oh,
well, certainly in 2014 as well. Double Fine has been in the gaming news too much as well because they haven't delivered, and I know that Double Fine is everybody's darling because apparently everybody likes Psychonauts, um, which I to this day do not understand. But
I've never
yeah,
played it, so I can't comment.
no, I went into it with an open mind. I was really looking forward to playing that game. And then it just felt like fucking Mario 64 or something like that. That game felt so much older than it was when it came out. I thought personally,
Yeah.
but that is what it is. But yeah, that's something else that's been in the people are still giving Double Fine flack
Yeah,
for
I
that
I,
whole
I have read about that there because of this
the funny
one.
star-based game.
Yeah, yeah. Was it started on Kickstarter or was it an early access or on Steam or something? And
No,
then
I believe it was crowdfunded. Yes.
yeah, so and then they suddenly decided, oh well, we're not gonna do anything more with this
No, well,
stuff.
I believe they are still updating it, but still much too slowly, and it's one of those stories where they got killed by their own success. They just their Kickstarter goal was they got 10 times as much as that, and then they just spent 11 times as much, and then they're all well now we're out of money and the game is not done. Whoop.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Man. I don't know. Do you got any other news from last year that deserve our attention?
I think we've gotten into a lot of it. That a lot of the news from last year was the whole gaming media thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it felt like on the three podcasts we did in the in the late bits of last year, all we spoke about was Ubisoft. So I feel like,
Yeah, it was very. Yeah, it also pretty much summed it up that how Ubisoft is has not been that great,
yeah, exactly.
to say the least.
Yeah, I
Oh,
feel like the whole news from last year and the sort of why did people hate last year? Why did some people say that it was the worst year ever in gaming? Well, Ubisoft is the short answer. I feel.
Yeah, so we'll see if 2015 will be different for Ubisoft, but they have to change a lot in order for that to happen.
Well, do you want to talk about the games we actually played then?
Let's do that.
All right. Um, I would like to segue straight from the old news into the best games then, because the best game I played in 2014, incidentally, was published by Ubisoft.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! But only because THQ went bankrupt. Because THQ was supposed to publish South Park, and then obviously they went bankrupt, and Ubisoft published it instead. But since the game was, I suppose, very close to done when they got it, it was released without Uplay. So not only was it an Ubisoft game that I really liked, but it was also an Ubisoft game that came out without Uplay. And I that game is amazing.
Okay,
I realize that I'm a South Park sort of viewer, so I feel a little extra at home in that game because you know what it's like when you watch a TV show, you feel you know the characters and so on. So I feel a little more at home in that game than people who don't watch South Park, but I still think it is solid. And I've mentioned on many occasions that I'm Obsidian Entertainment's bitch. But this game just solidifies why that is. I don't think let me assure you that I do not like that game because it's made by Obsidian. I goddamn love Obsidian because they make games like this. It is that good. And also, incidentally, one of the least buggy Obsidian games I ever played.
okay. I have to say, I really wanted to play that game, but I was put off by the fact that there was some censorship, at least for the European audience, that was put in there.
Really?
I don't know. It's just me. There was something about something that was being censored, and there was
something about something. All right.
I think it was some scene about an anal probe or some.
Oh, really?
Silly stuff. With Cartman, and it was. I believe it was something in the European version that was taken out.
Well, that certainly sounds like the kind of stuff that could get taken out because of England and Germany. Those countries are sometimes a little sensory.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to get my hands on a US version. But I have no idea how to do that. So that's why
that's easy. You just make a US Steam account.
Okay, but that's the reason why I haven't played the game.
yeah, all right. Well, that was easily the game I enjoyed the most. So I needed to get that off my shoulders. We can end this bit with your favorite game of the year. Other than that, I played the hell of a lot of Hearthstone. Which I believe you did as well. HS does deserve to be mentioned because even though it was in beta for God knows how long, and a lot of people would argue that it had been out
even
in 13. Yeah, the official release date was in 2014. So
yeah.
And that game as well is amazing as well. I hate Blizzard Entertainment. I really do. They are the most amazing people at selling, crack cocaine in game form.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how much time you can spend on this. This goes back to, I feel, the mod support in Warcraft 3. You should spend so much time in that game. It was like never ending, and that wasn't even monetized in the way. And then obviously World of Warcraft is World of Warcraft. But then HS as well. You know, come collect the little funny cards. The first one's free.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that statement.
Do you still play it?
I yeah, yes and no, because I want to get back into Hearthstone. Admittedly, I haven't really played it that much after the new expansion with gnomes versus goblins.
Mm.
So I've been a bit slow at that, and then it's it takes this turn. Well, I want to get into it now, but I don't want to get my ass kicked because I've been gone for too long, and then it gets worse and worse. Obviously.
Well, many of the old net decks still work. Everything has been mixed up a little bit because there are many sort of fun types of decks you can play. For example, a lot of people play sort of a mech style, a Sue-ish thing now, where they have a lot of low-cost mechs that buff each other and, do stuff. So, a lot of people are trying to make these mech decks that are fast and so on and so forth. But many of the old net decks still work, so it's not like it's a completely different game. There's a lot of new fun stuff to learn, but it's fun and if you've played a lot, then you're not gonna get left behind. The expansion simply isn't big enough for that.
Oh, okay, good. Because it just seemed like there were so many new cards, but
yeah, well, there's a bunch, but you'll get it. You'll get the hang of it quickly. I believe. I do believe. What I would recommend. I told you this earlier. What I would recommend you do is buy one of the big packs of packs, and then just unpack and pack and pack, and then do some arena runs and stuff. You'll be fine.
All right.
Or watch someone else stream. That's also always
I definitely. I just need to get back into it.
Yep.
But that's also definitely one of the games I have really enjoyed in 2014 Hearthstone. Definitely.
Yeah. What we had that list of games that we spoke about.
Yeah.
Mention some of the things from that list that you didn't play. Because we can get those out of the way quickly by excusing ourselves with not having played them. But I still feel a lot of the stuff on that list needs to be mentioned because so many people said so many good things about them.
That's true. Let me see if I can actually get a hold of this list that we talked about, because I can't remember all of the games. I remember Transistor was one of them. I haven't played that one, although I have the game.
All right.
And I've heard it was great.
Do you have an Xbox controller or something like that for your computer?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
I do. What else was there? Was Hotline Miami also in 2014 or was that 13?
Was it? No, I don't think it was. I feel like that's old.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's old.
Old.
Yeah.
What else?
Did you play? I know you didn't play.
I have it here. Yeah.
All right. I know you didn't play Abyss Odyssey because I bought you that game, and we haven't played it yet.
That's true. I didn't play Shovel. I haven't played Shovel Knight either, but I heard it's good.
Hotline Miami came out in 2012, man.
Well, there you go.
And then the sequel, the Hotline Miami 2 Wrong Number is coming out this year.
Okay. Well, yeah, so I haven't played Shovel Knight, Abyss Odyssey, Cigarette, Wasteland 2, This War of Mine, Transistor.
Cigarette?
Cigarette, or how you pronounce it.
Yeah, all right.
Cigarette. But
You haven't played this war of mine.
no.
I see Phil playing that all the time.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it. I've been considering of getting it.
I
Because
think
it
it was.
does.
I think it was. I think it was Jesse Cox who called it like depressing Sims or something like that.
Depressing Sims. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Wolfenstein. I did play,
yeah.
and I really enjoyed it because it wasn't pretending to be something. It wasn't. It wasn't just pretending to be like, oh, you need to take cover all the time and so on. It was a. It felt like a genuine action FPS game,
Yeah.
like Wolfenstein is supposed to be, with silly stuff like Nazis on the moon and
Yeah.
whatever. This alternative reality where they won thanks to some scientist and so on and so forth. So yeah,
Did you finish it?
I finished it. Yeah.
All right. All right. So it was that good.
It was that good, and also
Because
much long. Yeah.
Because you got stuck on aliens.
Yeah, I'll also get into that too.
Yeah, that's fine. No, go on about Wolfenstein, man.
Yeah, but it was just a really good game, and I played it. Let me see if I can see how much I've played this game. No, I can't see, but I think it was like close to 20 hours anyway in total.
All right.
And for an FPS game to last that long when it's single player, that's quite good to say the least.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Compared to other games that last for 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, who doesn't remember the 3 hours that was what was it called? Bulletstorm.
I think it's a bit longer than that, but maybe 4. But anyway,
I just
yeah.
remember.
It was
Where did
short.
the game go?
Yeah. So yeah, there was definitely a lot more content in it than I thought, and the whole environments and so on and weapons, they functioned well. So
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorite games. Surprisingly, I didn't think I would enjoy it that much, but there you go. Assassin's Creed Unity. No, I didn't play that for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
What?
The bug show.
Yeah, Watch Dogs. Well, I have mentioned it earlier. I did unfortunately buy that game, and yeah, I played it, and I didn't think it was anything special. So
no. Well, that was the. I know. I know there was a couple of sort of games, podcasts and stuff that were supposed to do little award shows. Who forgot to mention that game because it was just such a big misfire when it finally came out, and people just sort of forgot about it. It says 15 hours, 15 and a half hours is what it took for you to finish Wolfenstein.
Okay, still a long game.
Yeah, that's fine.
Far Cry 4, I did not play.
No, well, the smart people around the world say that it's Far Cry 3.
It seems like a Far Cry 3 expansion, and that's the reason why I haven't been interested in that game that much.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it has you play in it, so you know that I didn't touch it with a 40-foot pole.
Yeah, yeah. Although it's actually said that Far Cry 4 and the Far Cry series as a whole is one of the more better series that Ubisoft do publish, but I think that's probably more because of the developer than Ubisoft.
Yeah, obviously, Far Cry isn't developed by Ubisoft.
Yep.
So
nope.
You know they have it.
South Park I didn't play, but you did, and you have just told everyone that it was a basic game.
I really enjoyed that game. It looks like South Park. It sounds like South Park. It really feels like like you're watching another South Park movie, but this time you have agency and you have, you can stand around and look at something. If something is funny or stupid, you can, you can take your time to really notice little silly things. So I really enjoyed that game, and it's not only because it sounds and tastes like South Park. It's also that it's really well made. As a whole, the game is just good.
Yeah. Next, Dragon Age Inquisition. Did you play it?
Oh no. Yeah, I first of all, I haven't played Dragon Age 2 yet. And
Okay.
and I will play Dragon Age 2 when it shows up on a platform that I buy my games from. I once told EA that I was going to pirate all their games.
Oh dear.
From
Can't
now
say
on.
that here. You can't say that here.
Oh yeah, sure, because I lied. I haven't been pirating their games.
Oh, that's great.
It was a very empty threat. Because I don't care. I got plenty of awesome stuff to play. So if they want to stick their stuff on some sort of platform where I buy my games, go right ahead. I will start with Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
But until that happens, sorry EA, I can't play games.
Well, I played it.
Yeah.
And I played it a lot, and I really enjoyed it, to be honest. It's the third game in the series. It ties in all your choices from the two previous games, and there's a lot of good conversations in there too. So yeah, it was a good RPG game, as you would expect from BioWare. So yeah, story-wise and everything was really, really good. Some pitfalls that sometimes combat it could get a bit repetitive, but overall it was certainly one of my favorite games of 2014 personally.
All right. How was character progression in it? Do you level up quick enough? How does that feel? Does that feel good in it or so on? Is it fun to level up your guy, and do you get to do it enough?
Yeah, definitely. I almost felt it was at a point I got to level up too fast at certain stages, but that was I got too powerful in the end because I'm one of those who know I want to explore everything. I want to do everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
well,
also
it's fun that's been sort of 50-50 what people have said about Dragon Age in that sense that some people have been saying, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" "Oh, I love running around and gathering little plants," and other people have said, "It's like playing an offline MMO. Stop this shit."
yeah, that's the thing. There's some aspects in that feels like you have to collect this and that. At the end of the day, there's many RPGs that are like that. But yeah, that was the less fun aspect of it. Running around. Oh, I have to collect these. I don't know, roots or plants to make my potions. But overall, it was certainly a very enjoyable game.
How has the game been performing for you? What I mean is, I have a friend who has a 780.
Yeah.
And when he switched everything up to maximum in that game, he didn't have a steady 60 FPS in 1080.
Okay. I have a 7070. I didn't have like any steady FPS. I also turned everything up. But most of the time it was certainly really, really fluent. Unless there was a lot of enemies and magic spells going on in there.
Yeah.
I didn't really felt I had any performance issues considering the rig that I played on.
Okay.
There were some. It only seemed to be in the beginning, at least I noticed that. That when you go into conversations and you have these choices, then it seemed as if the FPS dropped. But I have heard that the reason behind that is for some reason they chose to have that in 30 FPS.
Yeah. Definitely the cutscenes are in 30.
Yeah.
That I don't know. That seems to be some sort of BioWare kind of thing because I specifically remember that from Mass Effect as well. Mass Effect was I think it was, I don't remember how it was kept, but I just remember fiddling in the configuration file of that game. So I got as many frames as my GPU could possibly deliver, which this day and age is very high in the hundreds. And then having to see this amazing difference between, oh, the game is so fluent, the game is so nice, and then cutscenes and stuff like that is all like, oh my god, 30 FPS, arg.
Yeah, but it was still, it didn't really matter to me because it's you're not controlling your characters, that you're just choosing whatever they wanted to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could see it. Although I would, of course, rather have had that they had it in 60 FPS than 30. Because I see no reason why it should be in 30.
No.
So yeah, I certainly enjoyed that, mostly because of the conversations, the stories, and everything. So definitely one of my favorites, although not perfect. As you said, there were some repetitive things. A bit of grinding here and there, and so on. What else?
We've spoken about Dragon Age now. What about something like Divinity? That is also a role-playing game.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
It has received a lot of praise.
Okay, I haven't played it yet, unfortunately.
All right, but you have bought it, or what?
No, not yet. I've been a lazy bastard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, this is a game that I haven't played either, and it's probably the only game of 2014 where I feel like I should be, getting busy.
Yeah,
I really feel that that's a game that I should get started on because reading about it and so on and so forth.
I've also heard a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
It looks very impressive. But it's all right. That's something. It's something to look forward to. It seems like the kind of game where they've really tried to give the player a lot of agency, and where they have tried to make your choices have consequences. So that's something to look forward to. I'm really happy about that.
Yep. So yeah, definitely something new to play.
And then there's you, the man who has been playing Alien Insemination.
Yeah. And as you know, maybe most people know if they have seen me play, or you certainly know that I'm not a big gamer guy when it comes to horror games. Because they scare me, dude.
Yeah, well, that's sort of the point.
And that's the point of it.
It's supposed to be like watching a good horror movie, like at the edge of your seat and trying to get away.
And even though I haven't completed everything yet, mostly because I wanna do it while I stream, and I haven't done that much lately, unfortunately. But I will keep doing it. It has really, it has certainly impressed me with the looks, the graphics, the atmosphere. They have done it really well. Yeah, just the fact that it's like you don't really have any have any weapons or so on, so you can say, "Haha, I'm gonna shoot you." You really have to be careful how you move and when you
Oh,
move. And,
certainly the amount of weapons you have gets turned up later in the game. I have to tell you one thing though, dude.
yeah.
Um, I feel like you really, really need to want to see the rest of the game in order to
Oh,
play it because I have watched two separate Let's Plays of this game.
yeah.
The first one I sort of watched. I wanted to get the story. I wanted to see the game. And the second one I sort of tuned into in my incredulity. I had it running in the background while playing Hearthstone. And if there's one thing I can tell you about Aliens, it's that the accusations that the game is too padded are definitely true. That's a lot of I need the key card. Okay, I'll go get the key card. All right, thank you for the key card. Now, after the key card, you need to restore power. Okay, I have restored power. Oh yeah, well the hydraulics are shut, so you need to go down where you found
Yeah,
the key card
yeah.
and get this thing. And it's just, it feels like the developers were insecure or something. They were like, "Oh no, we don't know if our game is good enough, so let's give people more content." And the problem is that the content that people got a lot of is tedious. It's long-winded. And that's just not necessary, I feel like that game could have been much shorter, and still held up to an amazing quality, because the alien is the alien and looks cool, and the androids are creepy as shit, and that feeling of desperation on that space station. Oh my god,
Yeah.
everything has just gone so wrong. Is really good. I feel they pulled that off deftly. So I think it's terrible that they made the game that sort of long winded. Because basically it's amnesia in space, and it doesn't have to be that terribly long.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, oh, you need to go here and get this thing. Oh, you need to go back and do this thing. So you are in the same area for quite some time, and then you have to dodge the alien while you're doing this. So, and that prolongs the game. At least that's what I felt.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So, but
yeah. One thing is having to avoid the alien. It's just silly, that. I mean, I feel like the whole stealthing around the alien is the game. That's basically the game. Then there's some sort of storyline that's hung up on, and that's amazing. But the fact that they feel that like they had to sort of, okay, let's put even more of that in, is just a little bit silly, because I don't think it's necessary. I think it's amazing. It's an amazing game even before they sort of felt they had to make it give you even more.
yeah, I agree. But but it's certainly a very good game, and I can't wait to get
One
into it again.
one thing I
Actually,
was a little weirded out by with that game is that it's like some of the graphics, some of the textures are gorgeous. They really captured that sort of first Alien movie sort of aesthetic,
yeah, definitely.
and that looks great. That's beautiful, and when I was watching that, I was right back there. Oh my god, this is horrible. I remember how scary this was,
Yeah.
and that's amazing. And then sometimes you walk past something that has so bad textures that it's almost immersion breaking. It's like, how could this bit over here be so beautiful? And then we got this pipe that looks like it's from fucking Quake.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I haven't noticed that much when I've been playing with the pipe. Mostly, I've noticed beautiful textures, the whole pie things I haven't noticed that much, but that's maybe because I've been more focused on not dying from the damned alien trying to eat me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and there's also an optimist in there.
There is a optimist. So get ready to get sued, alien people.
Yeah.
No. What else? Sort of.
Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Have you been playing that?
No, but that was like no, but it was next on the list. But I haven't been playing
okay,
it
it's
because
on the list.
well, first of all, it looked a bit too much of like Assassin's Creed-ish, and that's just this thing about me. I've never been a fan of being like watching, what do you call it? Like, things that happens before the actual story.
Like
stuff.
prequel-y stuff?
Yeah, prequel
Is
stuff.
that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, it's like apparently this prequel before is it before Lord of the Rings, I believe. Yeah, it is.
I don't. Okay,
it's before Lord
so it's supposed to be between the Hobbit movies and the
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The pre-sequel.
The pre-sequel. That's what it is. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, it has received a lot of good criticism, both from people I know and from actual reviewers.
Yeah, me too. So that's why it annoys me that I'm just a person like that who doesn't like prequels that much.
No, all right. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's made by Warner Brothers, which is obviously I think the Batman guys. So first of all, I don't think it has you playing it. Second of all, some of the latter Batman games had some weird performance issues and weren't long enough, and people had all sorts of bad things to say about the latter Batman games. But the first Batman Arkham game, if you like that type of character action game, then Shadow of Mordor can be an Assassin's Creed clone, all you want it to be. But Warner Brothers may actually be better at making Assassin's Creed than the guys who make Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
So I'm saying I didn't scoop it up on Christmas sale. I don't know if it was particularly reduced on the Christmas sale.
40%.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll keep an eye out for it. I may just wishlist it and then give it a chance at some point.
Yeah.
The major part about Shadow of Mordor, I suppose, was that this is also a game that we could have mentioned in the news section because Warner Brothers got a lot of flack for trying to keep people from reviewing their game. For no good reason, because I believe that a lot of reviewers would have given it a great review. They had a review embargo that was, I believe, 24 hours after the release of the game. And that's usually the kind of tactic that someone who knows their game is going to get a shitty review. That's something they do. But in this case, a lot of people say, why'd they want to do that?
Yeah, there's no reason for you to do that.
No, there's no reason other than them just being a big publisher who sort of just covers their ass.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly those things are always bad when there's like embargoes and that stuff.
Yeah.
What else? The Evil Within. I've heard about it.
Yeah,
I've not played it.
Just don't. It's Japanese programmers and creators trying to recreate the awesomeness that was Resident Evil back in the day, or the how amazing the first Silent Hills were, and so on. But that game is a mess. It's it's just incoherent computer game gibberish, if you ask me.
Okay.
It's just things happening for no reason and things being weird and so on. And then you got, oh yeah, you have all these horrible, terrible spectacles. No doubt about that. I mean, wow, those are indeed zombies with barbed wire coming out of their eye sockets and so on. Yeah, I get it. All right, that's cool. But you know what? I am, it's so confusing. You're playing that game and you have no idea what's going on. So I don't have particularly good things to say about that game. If you like if you're a fan of the genre, then it may be entertaining for you. But I just can't get past a lot of the sort of incoherent. What?
Yeah.
This is happening because horror. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I've also heard that it wasn't that good, and it was the reviews I've seen it were not that great. So it was one of those things that people were really hyped up about in 2014 and failed to deliver.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
The year where all the underdogs won. Every fight in 2014 between computer games, all the underdogs won. Like all the funny little, it was the indie platformers and the roguelites and the stuff like that is what won.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, no, sure, all right. Like Divinity is not an indie game. Neither is South Park, Neither is Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
But they certainly weren't the flagships.
Like AAA titles, no.
No, well, sure they are AAA, but they just were never any publisher's flagship.
No.
It's the year where it's like when the Hurt Locker won the Oscar. Everybody was like, but they weren't supposed to win.
But they did.
Yeah, so I don't know. Anything else that you have played or you feel should be mentioned? Did you?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
No, go on.
Well, I've also played some more Telltale games.
Oh yeah, all right.
The new Game of Thrones game. Obviously, it's typical of Telltale games that they have them divided up in episodes and series. So I've only played the first.
They have their formula down now, don't they?
Yeah, they do. So I've only played the first episode, but it's certainly stays true to Game of Thrones, and it's like this side story going on within the universe. So yeah, it's what you would expect a Game of Thrones game to be, which I suppose is good. So yeah, I've certainly been enjoying that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what Telltale Games have been sort of putting out, they've been sort of very steadily been putting out good stuff. Obviously, they came out with Jurassic Park 2 or 3 years ago. They have the Walking Dead series that keeps coming out. I believe the newest game in that series was in 13 that came out. The Wolf Among Us came out, I believe, also in 13. Last year they had the Tales from the Borderlands and the Game of Thrones game. Yeah. And one thing's interesting about Game of Thrones is that obviously it's a licensed game. The Game of Thrones franchise is not an IP that Telltale Games own. And oftentimes when you have to make something like, Marvel comes up to you and say, okay, let's make a Spider-Man game, licensed games like that just have the deck stacked against them. They always come out shit. But for some reason, this formula that Telltale games have really has really seems to sort of just work for them. And a lot of people have said nice things about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and I've also been paying a bit of some attention, at least, to the development of the game. And apparently, George R. Martin, who is the creator of Game of Thrones,
he's the author.
The author, yes. He hasn't been impressed with the previous games that have been made.
No, okay.
So this time he sent his personal assistant to overview the development to make certain it held up to what he wanted in a game when it came to story.
And when George R. Martin sends his personal assistant, things come out exactly the way George R. Martin wants, seeing as his personal assistant is a dragon.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't do what the dragon says,
exactly, you will feel the dragon fire.
Yeah. I I think that was it for 2014 for me, at least.
Yeah. What of all those games you played, what did you enjoy the most? What did you have the sort of best time with?
That's the thing, is that's really difficult.
All right, different genres and so on, or what?
Yeah, because it's like I enjoyed aspects of all the of like, for example, Dragon Age Inquisition, definitely, because of the story in there and also partly gameplay.
Yeah.
But I definitely enjoy the thing is how it ties things together and how your choices from previous games and so on come to life.
Yeah.
Just like Mass Effect. It almost felt a bit like Fantasy Shepherd or something.
Okay. No, but it's a completely different character though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Yeah,
I heard you're supposed to bump into the guy from the second game as well. I heard you can meet him in it.
Yes, you can, which is quite interesting.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you can. No, what I mean interesting is just it's a bit weird to see a character you played from a previous game that now you're not controlling him, but he's saying stuff from the second game from choices you made there, and you can either make him or her look like the default character or even the custom character you made.
Yeah.
So again, immersion, which is good.
Yeah. All right. That is cool. I feel like we've sort of exhausted the games. Obviously, we're not exactly the hyper consumer guys who buy every game the day it comes out.
No.
I personally stick to some particular titles that I keep coming back to. I have sort of a constant repertoire of games that I enjoy. Obviously, Planetside 2, Hearthstone. Then I have a couple of sort of role-playing games that I also sort of replay time and time again. And I definitely see some games from last year that will make their way into that list. You mentioned Transistor. I'm really looking forward to that as well. I haven't finished Bastion yet. I want to play that game first.
Yeah, I've also gotten back into Planetside 2 recently, and I definitely plan on going back into Hearthstone again.
Yeah, and then I'd like. There's a couple of these games that we've mentioned that I'd like to play with you. I would like to play Abyss Odyssey with you. That's supposed to be all co-op cool. So that's a game I really wanted to.
Yeah, let's do that.
To play with you, and then the the two Lara Croft games by Crystal Dynamics. Obviously, the Guardian of Light, and then the Temple of Osiris. The Temple of Osiris came out in December last year, and is kind of new still. But I haven't played Guardian of Light yet, so I say we set up a play date where we do a playthrough of Guardian of Light at some point. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, sounds good. I haven't played that either, but I've looked at it.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think that sums up 2014. You got anything else for that?
Not for 2014 in particular, no.
All right. Well, do you want to talk about 2015? Do you want to talk about new stuff? Like now stuff? Like stuff that's a week old?
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
Well, new. But as you know, The Witcher 3 has been delayed until March. It was supposed to come out in February, but they decided, hey, we need a bit more time.
See, I didn't actually know that.
Okay.
that had been pushed along, but hey, all right.
The reason they gave was that this game is so huge, and now it's pretty much almost done. But we just really want to optimize the game and get rid of some bugs before we send it out to the public.
Yeah. Well, this is obviously one of the good parts about not having a publisher, a draconic publisher, sitting on your shoulder going, release.
Yeah. Release or die. So no, they have done that. Some people are always saying, "Oh God, when a game is delayed, then it means that something terribly wrong." But I don't necessarily.
That's not true at all. I mean, who are the kings of delay and delay and delay? Fucking Blizzard and Valve. All right, are you telling me now that they make bad games? No, they don't. They make polished games. So
yep.
you know, delaying and postponing because of polish and optimization, awesome.
Yeah, that's the reason, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah.
So does that, and it seems like the whole virtual reality thing with the whole goggles that I'm not really into, what is it called, Oculus Rift and so on, is also getting more and more popular. Because first it was the Oculus Rift, then was it Sony? Yeah, they made their own version.
Samsung also has something.
And now Razer is making their own too.
Okay. Well,
it doesn't mention when it will be out on the market, but I just read recently that they're working on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is sort of non-news. You know, is it going to be good? Fine, let's see it. Let's see what it is. But Razer is not a company that I buy products from anymore. I have been
same.
I've been burned too many times by mice that buttons just stopped working within less than 6 months. Mouse mats where the top bit came off. The top fabric came off for no reason, and headsets breaking in my hand and so on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I have had the same problem.
I mean, I will tell you what, the Razer Imperator mouse has an amazing fit in my hand. I love how that mouse fits in my hand, but I also know that I'll click it to pieces within 3 months. So sorry, Razer, I can't buy your stuff anymore. But I mean, all right, a 3D goggle. This seems to be something that a lot of people are taking very seriously. I doubt many will have as good a product as the Oculus Rift. So let's see it when these things start to hit the market. They still have a lot of problems with people who have glasses can't use them. People who get seasick easily can't use them. There are so many problems with these things that, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I agree. It's for me. It's a bit like a gimmicky thing. It's like the whole 3D stuff in the cinemas. It's just not for me.
No. Well, the 3D stuff in cinemas is, is problematic for other reasons, but that's also a shitty solution. That people come out with headaches and stuff from there as well.
Yeah, so yeah, that's why it's if some people like it, then good, but it's not convinced me in the slightest.
No.
But definitely, it seems to be kicking off more and more of that these virtual reality things. So
yeah,
let's see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else? Oh, it's around this time where there's not that many news coming out yet because it's just after the new year and so on and so forth.
Yeah. No. I mean, don't feel pressured into coming up with news.
Well, there is something, just a little funny thing. There's that's been released. Is it like 2,400 or around that? Old school DOS games.
Okay.
For free in your browser, so you can now play, for example, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade for free in your browser.
How does this? Is this a website you go to, or what's the deal?
It's a website called. Hold on. Let me see if we can find it again in my browser here. I have quite many links open. It should be. It's called archive.org.
Okay, spelled just like archive.
Yeah.
All right.
.org, and you should be able to go in there and play the games for free. So that was just one of them I mentioned, but there's many others.
Yeah.
I believe at least that's where it's from. Hold on. Oh, sorry, that's the. Is that the source? Yes, archive.org.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's something for people to check out, certainly.
Yeah, it's like you can play Dune 2 and Digger, Space Racer. That's also a game called, and Indiana Jones and.
Well, that's cool. And this is entirely legal, or what's the deal?
This is entirely legally, entirely free, and it runs in a browser.
All right. Well, very cool.
So yeah.
Well, no reason not to check that out.
It seems to be many of the old LucasArts games in there too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else? I certainly don't really have any news yet. I feel like every time it's been the Christmas holidays and New Year's, I feel like I emerge sometime mid-January. I emerge from under this rock, and it's all like, so what's going on here?
Well, I guess it's like the publishers and the developers. They're getting ready for what to release of marketing material and so on for the new year.
Oh yeah.
So that's probably why it's gonna take until the middle of January before we'll hear anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And people had to go back to work and so on. She says. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine, dude. I think we may as well just finish up then.
Yep.
I want to say thanks to you.
Thank you to you too.
And Happy New Year.
You too, and we should do that co-op streaming.
Oh yeah, definitely. That'd be fun. No doubt about that. And it's nice to have a couple of different things to choose from there. So we'll see.
We'll see where it goes.
All right, dude. Thanks again.
Likewise. Hey.
Hey.